Well, good afternoon, everybody. I appreciate all of you attending, taking time out of your day on a Sunday at 3 o'clock to come to the April Lions training for Single District 46 in Nevada. And so, as you may know or you may not know, we've been doing this every Sunday for the entire Lions year. And we have a YouTube channel that you can visit and see all of the trainings as well as our cabinet meetings. They're all posted up there. If you just go to go to YouTube, search for the at sign, and so it's at sign Lions Training SD, like Sam David, 46. And you'll know you're there because there is a gold lion's head as its logo. And you'll be able to go on there and search any of the classes that we've done this year. So please, once this class is done and it's posted, make sure that you spread the word. Have people go to that YouTube channel, take a look at whatever they want to, see this class specifically, but see the other classes as well. So today, our class is entitled Leadership Styles and how to affect your club. Jeremy's, how did we name that? Leadership Styles.
Uh, I'm gonna we're gonna name it after I do it so we can pick the perfect name.
Perfect. Okay.
Okay.
So, folks, this is my good friend Jeremy Bair. Jeremy and I were district governors together. Jeremy is in Maryland. He belongs to the Westminster. No, you're a member of the Greater Carroll Lions Club, correct?
That is correct.
Yeah, Westminster, Maryland, and we've spent time outside of Lions, just hanging out and talking. And so when I went to him last year, I said, Jeremy, I need somebody to teach a class, and he said, I would love to do that. What do you want? He said, I want to do this. I have a class on this. I said, that's perfect. So let's just go with that. So Jeremy, can you just tell us a little bit about yourself? And you told us something earlier before I started recording. I want everybody to know.
Yes. So I am an educator by trade. So my mind works like a teacher, delegating students to achieve in their own way and build success towards the next levels. But I am also the secretary of the 2027 International Convention in Washington, D.C. So consider this your first invitation to come join us in 15 months in Washington, D.C. to celebrate all the great service projects throughout the world. Uh, my journey started the year before COVID as a zone chair, and I was still in my 30s. And I thought youth in leadership would be great to designate throughout the district. And that actually gave me the opportunity to then go on to region chair. And region chair was an amazing opportunity. I'm a third generation Lion. So some of those Lions throughout the county were very young men and ladies when they first joined, when my grandfather was still a Lion and they had been in military service with my father. So the ability to go out and be part of them and see what they had done in service projects was very important to me. Like I had said, COVID was part of the end of my zone chair year. I had already tried to do something county-wide to give long-time Lion recognition. I had made a certificate and a pin for all the Lions with 30 or more years of active service within Lionism, and then COVID hit, and I found myself a little trapped and not able to go out and do what I had wanted. So instead of them coming to me at a dinner, I went out for the 3 weeks and I visited over 100 Lions at front doors, back porches, mailboxes, whatever they were comfortable with. And it was a great opportunity ahead of my region chair year to know their styles, to know what was important to them, because sometimes leader as follower or leader as coach empowers somebody else to take that extra step to do more within Lionism. So I visited over 100 houses within 10 days during COVID and gave them their certificates before my region chair year started. and also was able to give them a pin for recognition that was outside what Lions International gives us to recognize with chevrons or things like that. I wanted the local flair of Carroll County pride to be important with them. Uh, as many of you know, COVID dampened a little bit of our fundraising opportunities and our abilities to get out there. So I initiated a joint project. We had a young man who was having seizures and he was looking for donations towards a diabetic alert dog. So that was one of my first projects to go out and meet with the local clubs and join together. And we had a nice program once the dog was here. He got to talk about all he had learned about, you know, we're used to leader dogs, but not necessarily diabetic alert dogs. So it gave the clubs the opportunity to learn about the experience they had gifted this young man before he went off to college. In the meantime, I had been out visiting all 54 clubs in my district. I had never gone outside of my county as a 15-year Lion before. It was something new for me to try to look for my upcoming cabinet. And I picked two goals within my vice district governorship. I wanted to represent youth in service, which was the 45 and under crowd, because a lot of our clubs were having retention problems with those members that were under the age of 50. So as I went out there, I was spanning a distance of about 3.5 hours to get to different clubs, and I was also looking for the reasons they found themselves within Lionism. So I wanted to find a zone chair that maybe had military service, a zone chair that was a former fraternity brother, a zone chair that was a Girl Scout, a zone chair that was in the fine arts. I wanted my zone chairs and my cabinet members to be representational of all the different ways that Lions come to the table and bring their attributes to make sure that their local communities are served. My leadership styles, I had seen that about 20% of the clubs in my district were getting more than average recognition. And I wanted to go to those clubs that weren't always in the newsletter and make sure they shined a little bit. I sat down with presidents in their on their porches and rocking chairs, and I talked about what was important to them. Some of the clubs didn't stop during COVID. They had the average age of 80, and there were only 7 members, and they were never recognized, but they still held a vested interest within the way they did community service within their local environment. So I tried to get to know each and every club at their own level. And I'm sure you've done that in the past, where if you go to a carnival and it's a Lions Club of 60 that can do a whole carnival by themselves, or a Lions Club of 8 at the average age of 80, there's a different there's a different way they function, and their value sets are different. So I tried to get to know each and every club and the way they were bringing community service to their local environment. My teaching style is to make sure that every student participates within the classroom at least once, so they feel they've contributed to something. And that was the parallel that I wanted to give to each and every club. If there was a club that always had a zone chair or always had a vice district governor within the cabinet, I tried to not pick that club to show representation within the cabinet that year, just to make sure that each and every club uh, was able to have a little bit of representation that year. Leader as, what does leader as look like for me? I believe in leader as torch passer. One of the things I had to do as a region chair was pass off a project that I was not completely done with yet. I have a lot of people, like I said, that knew my grandfather and father, and they saw this as my opportunity to be district governor, to kind of torch past the traditions that they had held and valued for so many years. Uh, Leader as role model, I think, is very important. I think leader as coach, as a former track coach, you try to take somebody who might have a new idea, but it's not completely bought in at their club level, and maybe say, well, you know what? I know this other guy in the county next door. And if you talk to him, you may be able to get some ideas. So there's a leader as networker as well. With the or the district governorship being 1 year, we always have to remember that we're going to be that torch passer one day. So we need to use our attributes and our ability to network with people to make sure that once we're not the district governor, they go on and they're successful within their own clubs. I tried to set goals for myself. Uh, I hit 48 of my 53 official visits within the first 3 months. I was doing sometimes 8 official visits within 1 week. I would do a Monday night, a Tuesday night, a Wednesday lunch, a Wednesday night, a Thursday night, a Friday picnic, and then a Saturday picnic. Because I thought the message that you give as a district governor, my 10 to 12-minute speech, was one that everybody needed to hear the first third of the year. So they knew what was valued by me, where the goals were in terms of the district, and how they could get involved later in the year in terms of their own club being part of the district. I also wanted them to understand that motivating the next best lion to bring the next best lion in was important. I actually had a net loss of membership my year. Um, the deaths outweighed considerably what was average, and we had some others going. So I did not achieve all of my goals. So, you know, you roll with the punches a little bit to see what's going on, but I let my leadership in terms of zone chairs develop their own process of going out to the zone meetings and networking with the local clubs. Uh, they were pretty successful. My district gave me some leeway. I had 4 zone chairs that had not yet completed their year of presidency, which does not follow the average liking of what the district wants in terms of getting new people to the zone chair level. But I thought the people that I was bringing in their own personal message of service was a unique way within that year to let the others know what is bringing youth in service to the table. That was really important for me. I developed a multi video series, which I'm going to let Adam show you an example of where they are. Another way to bring a representative from each member of the table or each member of the district was to set up a video series. We did it once a month, and it highlighted the best practices within each and every club. And then it was filmed so that if other Lions wanted to have the opportunity to see what clubs were doing 2.5 hours away, they were able to see that. Some of the topics that the 30 plus clubs presented over my Zoom series ranged from member retention, uh, multi-club projects, supporting the Leo program, uh, program chairing, grant writing was really important. We have an amazing young lady here in grant writing within my county, and we have some opportunities within our local state to get funding. So she was able to share those best practices. Community partnerships, and then what brought Lions to the table. We had one young lady whose mom was battling cancer, and they did a benefit at one of our local Lions facilities. And that was her entrance way into becoming a Lion, and her husband became a Lion, and her daughter got really involved as well. So finding your cause and what makes you an advocate for the Lions pillars. And then youth in Lionism, like I had said, I actually lined up my own personal club when I was out on the road with a first vice, second vice, and third vice president that were all under the age of 30. Because one of my biggest fears in going out and doing leadership at the district level was I was a chairman of probably 40% of my local club fundraisers. So I wanted to leave my own club in good standing and making sure that they were able to still have the success we wanted at our own club level while I went out to the district level. It's a great opportunity to get out there and be a leader. I do have some things I wish I would have done. You know, you wake up July 2nd, 2 days after your governorship is done, and you think, man, I really wish I would have been out there doing things. I did have one thing within my presentation that I was really trying to get done, and that was pointing the finger at the lion who can do great work within their clubs. So during my speech, I had them say, "Who's the lion who's going to bring in the next best lion into your club? Who's the one who's going to bring the person that you wish would join your club that's not joining your club?" And to make sure they had their own individual goals set, to make sure they knew the direction that they were going in. I probably talked way too fast for my 15 to 20 minutes, but it was an amazing experience. Having the international convention to lead up to it was really good, and that's something that we're doing right now. And you guys had a USA Canada forum around Reno, so I'm sure you envisioned the same way, or somewhere over in Adams neighborhood. I'm not sure where it is. It's
It was here.
closer than
It
over
was right
here.
here.
Yeah. Uh, every lion plays a vested interest in their own reason for belonging. So my next push in leadership with past international president Clem and past international director Joe Gaffigan is to find the advocacy to make sure that we get the presence at Washington, D.C., because that's a once in a lifetime opportunity. If you think of the international convention, where only 1 to 2% of the lions go every single year, we have some people in proximity who have valued this lion program for over 40 years, and they've never been to an international convention. So it's possibly leadership, but possibly also advocacy to make sure their own lion journey, each and every one of them, incorporates this international convention so close to home. How do I get them there, even if they're only there 2 or 3 days a year out of the international convention, to be a part of everything we're going to showcase in Washington, D.C. So I'm excited for the opportunity to do that next. We're trying to think of great ways to get them out there and make sure even those lions who have never held presidency, you know, that experience may lead to the future leadership of the club. They may be going to international service projects at an international convention where they have a young lady from Senegal to the left of them and a young man from Norway to the right of them. And they continue to be a lifelong learner themselves within Lionism based on their opportunities that they have as an international convention participant. Again, I probably talked too much or too fast during that second part as well, but
Can I ask you a question?
surely.
Did you keep, and don't ever call me Shirley. Did did you? That's just between you and I.
No, but you can call him
Um,
Sue.
yeah. Did you stick to that 10 or 15 minutes at your meetings? Because everyone knows that I'm very shy and I'm kind of reserved. I can't talk very well. So I was just curious if you kept to that.
I did. I had it pretty much memorized within the first 8 clubs, and it felt amazing. And then I took a week off for a holiday, and I lost it a little bit. So it took me about another 3 clubs to memorize it again. But but the teacher in me says the student has the average attention span of 8 to 12 minutes, and my generalization of everything was important to me. I had narrowed that down, and after that I wanted more of the Q&As of what mattered to the individual local club, because I think that's where the heart and soul of most of the lions within Western Maryland are. We do some great stuff at the USA Canada level, and we do some great stuff at the international level. But people in Western Maryland, their budgets are set where they're really focused on supporting their local communities, their Boy Scouts, their Leo programs, their softball leagues, the local scholarships. They really have that local, sometimes church feeling. Um, and you can just see it. The more you get out to the West Virginia boundary line with Maryland, that is 100% the case. Uh, I forgot to tell one of my favorite stories. So I have a club of 10 that meets at a church, and they meet once a month, and they do scenic narratives of the local Antietam battleground. So that's a very unique way of building a Lions Club through speeches and guest speakers. But I also have a club in Garrett County who I get up at 4 a.m. I arrive at 6:30. They do a chicken barbecue all day long, and at 6:30 when I arrive, they hand me a beer, which is a completely different dynamic. And I have two of them because I still have to drive 2.5 hours home. But the dynamics of each and every Lions Club, as you get to know them, that's what really made it meaningful to me. That you can drive all that way out there and feel that, that this, if I wasn't in my own Lions Club, this would be a Lions Club that I would want to be part of. That's the kind of relationship you build as you go out there and you see these other clubs, and you brainstorm different ideas that are cross county to get everybody involved.
So, Jeremy, in listening to your talk, especially what resonated with me was the fact that you had visited 53 clubs. Um, I had visited 50. Unfortunately, I don't think that we could have done the 50 as quickly as you did the 53 because we have quite a geographical area. But the piece that stuck to me was when you were talking about your speech, and granted, in doing it, tried the best to go and, memorize what I wanted to talk about. Uh, but what was very, very important to me was the clubs, what they were doing, what they wanted to do. Um, if there's any way that the district could help them get to where they needed to be, because I tell you, and I'm sure you found this out during your year, is that you found that that's what they want. They wanted to hear about themselves. They really wanted to talk about themselves. But yes, it was important that they understood, like you as district governor, what is your plans for the year? What are you going to do? How are you going to help us? How are you going to help the district? What kind of new plans are you're going to have? And I find that piece that you talked about very interesting and frankly spot on.
A couple of things, Jeremy. First off, Clara, she says international conventions very expensive. How do you address that to a new lion? How do you sell that to a new lion or to even a longstanding lion?
Yeah. Do you mean at my local level, or do you mean at people who are traveling? So so what we are actually doing
Well,
is
either way, I guess.
okay. So I guess for the local
Both,
Lions, what we're doing,
both.
what we both for the local Lions, I guess what we're doing is we're showing a year in advance for them to look at their administrative fund. Representation and presence is very important. If there is a club who wants to fundraise and go directly towards their administrative fund, if they register for $180 and the club wants to give back 130 of those dollars because they did an administrative fundraiser, we have 3 or 4 clubs doing that in my county, because that presence and that once in a lifetime opportunity to go to that international convention so close to home. We have the potential of taking 2 different buses down. We may not have overnight guests actually in Washington, D.C. We may have people, depending on when the main parts of each day are, they take a bus down and they're back home, so they don't have that extra expense of actually staying in Washington, D.C. for 6 nights. And I shouldn't say that because we need to fill the hotel rooms and this is recorded, but oh well. Yeah, Babs.
We put it in our budget
Yeah.
every year
Yeah.
that we will refund. It's only $300, but that does cover most of it. But we have it in our budget, so
Yeah.
we can get people to go to No, it's 500 for international, but it's 300 for cabinet meetings.
For the local people in the multiple district of Delaware, Maryland, and DC, I believe we're also working in a stipend for volunteers. So if they go down in a vehicle with 4 other Lions and they all volunteer 2 or 3 hours out of the day, their expenses for driving down there and parking and everything will pretty much be comped if they're carpooling together. So we're looking at that in terms of multiple district. Again, we want to make sure. I took a brief survey and somebody said 1 out of 4 Lions from your multiple district should be at the international convention. I think that is very, very ambitious. That would be amazing if 1,300 Lions from our multiple districts were actually present at the international convention. But I think exciting them at the local club level is most important, and that's what we're going to work on with the next district governors coming in for that 12-month countdown to make sure that all clubs are present in the Lion Parade, to make sure all clubs are present and learning at the workshops, all the great things that are represented within the international convention. How does each club know that they can benefit from sending as many representatives as possible to be there during that week? In terms of airfare and hotel, that is something that's probably worked at the club level or the district level. I know when we go to workshops for ALI or RLLI, sometimes that's worked in. And we have young men and young women from India. When Adam and I did certain things, they travel for 2 or 3 entire days to get to some of these events. They have connecting flights that are in multiple countries, and they're really dedicating the time and effort to make it to some of these events. So living within the United States and having one within the United States is to our advantage in terms of that, because yeah.
I just wanted to make one comment too. You were saying that you gave awards to the clubs. I did that too for sorry I didn't start it sooner in my year, but my tagline was stepping up to the challenge. And I had the club send me people, and I gave everybody certificates, and I wrote a personal note to them and thanking them for stepping up to the challenge for my year. Yeah. And I wish that I had started it in the beginning instead of in the middle. But
there's always something you think about in hindsight, right?
Yes, exactly.
Can I change gears here for a second? I have a question. My club, we're struggling with finding people within our club who want to be in leadership positions. And, part of it is because, they're working or something like that. Sometimes it's because they're just kind of introverted. They don't want to go out and they don't want to give a secretary's report or a treasurer's report, and they certainly don't want to organize all the events and but so we're having a hard time, and we've got a club of 46 people, so we're retreading, and we don't want to do that, but boy, we're pushing really hard and we figure an education piece is the thing. I think they're afraid of what it could be when they realize what it really is and how easy it is and how they're not going to be alone. No one's going to let them fail. When I was, but I want your take on that. But when I was going for district governor, I was told, Adam, we will not let you fail. And boy, did that take the weight off. And so that I'm
Yeah.
trying to impart that to the people in my club, saying, look, we will not let you fail. If you fail, we all fail. Not going to let it happen.
Yeah, we have a young man, I guess, 3 years older than me, and we used a lot of delegation that year. We assured him that he'd have a very strong treasurer and a very strong secretary to work with, and that his first vice president would be there if he missed a third of the meetings because he had, his daughter was in softball. He wasn't always certain of his schedule, but he also rents a local spot from my dad. So if he had to go down to the office and check on Lions Club stuff during the week, his schedule during the week outside of meetings was a little flexible and he could take 5 or 10 minutes there. So it's really getting to know the identity of the individual and the ways to make sure pre-planned what's going to help them succeed and make sure what scaffolds are in place to make sure the club is always supported, even if the president is not always there in person.
Are any of you guys having the same issues as my club?
Yeah, we have just under 90, right? We have just under 90 members, and just a majority of them are going, what do we have going? Do you need any help on this little project or this fundraiser or that? But as far as committing to leadership, even in the club, is a challenge.
Until I became president, I was vice president, and the president passed away in September. So I took over his. It was 99 years our club was at that time. They had never had a president twice.
Yeah, see, that's
and now
different.
But we only had 50 members when I joined up here. It had 200 and 300, but now we're recycling.
Yeah, we've been here for 20 years, close to 20 years, and we've only had 6 presidents. That's how we've. Marie,
Yeah.
did you?
Yes, we're having an issue too because of the small club. So
Yeah.
I'm going to have to step up and be president again this year. But I also have a backup with a great first VP that I said, if I get tired, you're going to have to help me.
Yeah.
We're focused
Jeremy,
on rebuilding also.
Well, I was going to say something about Leonard. Are we in the question and answer portion of this?
We can be
Jeremy,
in whatever.
Or did you have more?
Yeah, we can be in whatever part of the presentation that we need to. Yeah.
Well, Leonard, let me just say, Leonard. Okay, Leonard is the president of a club in North Las Vegas, and it's kind of the talk of the district because Leonard is doing a fabulous job in a very difficult situation, and he has navigated that better than I could have hoped. And so I just want to say, Leonard, you're a real inspiration, at least to those of us who know.
Well, I'm going to say that that inspiration that you're sharing is really motivational in that it gets kind of lonely in this process of rebuilding, especially when the relationships aren't in place to, well, when you don't know, and there's a lot that I don't know, and I'm thankful for all of the support that I've been getting through this. In the club, uh, we we all appreciate it, and do know that it's rough, but we're going to stay the course. And I appreciate the advice that you've given our speaker. I appreciate that, and thanks district and thanks region for all the help.
Hey folks, this is Angela O'Brien from Aloha Lions. I'm president as well, I've been nominated, but our whole board has been nominated. for the second term. And I'll tell you, we seem to accomplish so much as a team because we have a monthly, of course, board meeting before any of our member meetings. And I know Angie Cacciavato is on this call as well as a secretary who's absolutely awesome, a newbie, another third generation at least, Lion. And I must say, the board meetings have become so powerfully good for us in bringing us as a team together. And we plan our meeting based on the outcome of that board meeting. And so that, like, our meeting is Tuesday. We had our board meeting last week. And it's really made a difference. I wonder if anybody else experiences that. I guess not.
Experiences a board meeting that is
has a board
effective.
Meeting and really makes it for an effective team grouping together, supporting each other and the club.
I think with our board meetings here in Elko, we'll have a discussion on, okay, and it's once a month. The club meets once a week. And but what we do at that board meeting is we have it sectioned out. What do we have going between this month and next? Ours is the second Tuesday of the month, our board meeting. So then when we start our next board meeting, we start with the previous minutes. How did this go? How did that go? Did we make progress? You know, the head or behind on everything that was mentioned, which really helps keep it focused.
Right.
After you've done that for a few years, you kind of fall into that and go, how did we do on this and how did we do on that even before we have a board meeting? And then we also go through that for every month, and then at our meeting on that day, that Tuesday, we go over the board meeting with the rest of we have 89 members. So we don't have, our board meeting is set on a board, the group that's on the board. Anybody can come to the meeting as guests and we welcome that. But the board meeting is basically talking about what we have going on and what we're going to be doing. And if there's timelines to that, including conventions and our district meetings.
Yeah.
I have a quick question.
Yes, Leonard.
Where it comes to the recruiting efforts across the board, are there any special tools or ways that um, you go about recruitment that's tried and true? That's something that you'd like to share.
Right.
Well, I can, and as I mentioned before, the rest of you got here, to Jeremy and to Babs, I frequently quote the philosopher Wayne Gretzky, who said, "You miss 100% of the shots you don't take."
Right.
So the key is always keeping your eyes open and not being afraid to ask. That's the key. I used to tell the people in my sheriff's. We are all our own best recruiters. So don't wait for someone else. Be your own best recruiter. Look for people, ask them if they seem like quality people, invite them to an event or whatever, or a club meeting. But I'm going to give you one more possibility. Next year, I'm going to be global service. And part of that is getting you all signed up. Each club, every club, Leonard, I'm going to call every one of them, and we're going to get you involved in a thing called Just Serve. And it is a way to put your club out there, and members and prospective members can see that, not only just for your clubs, but for events as well. And because of that, we just got our very first member from that. And I literally today got 2 more emails from people who want to come see our club. Yeah.
How many
Okay.
people
So,
actually
Thank you.
use an agenda for their regular meetings?
I do.
Okay. And you write down what happened, who your speaker was, what they spoke about. I mean, because we have speakers almost every week. Well, 3 weeks out of the month because we do a board meeting. But I mean, it just seems like the agendas in my club are just falling apart. I mean, nobody has an actual agenda and puts it in our archives. Of course, our archives we're 106 years old, but
So
Um,
Adam,
we incorporated a program that transcribes our meetings. So we'll do the meetings and it'll take our recordings, turn it into a Word document or a PDF. And because we had real problems keeping track of stuff and keeping our
so
minutes in
mhm.
What
place.
about a secretary? Isn't that the role of the secretary? I know in our case, she's magnificent.
Well,
She did the
we
minutes
had
to a board.
secretarial problems. We had
Oh,
problems
that.
with our secretary, and we knew how important it was to have these. And most secretaries don't do shorthand. They,
Yep.
and this program, it transcribes, it takes voice, turns it into a Word document or a PDF. And when we follow the process, it works really good for us.
well, Leonard, let me suggest, and I'll suggest this to every club represented here, that because we have a huge problem with reporting our service. We all do a lot of things. I know every club that's sitting here, and you all are doing incredible stuff. But if I go on the portal right now, I won't read about it.
True.
So this is what I suggest you do. You make every meeting that you have an event in the portal. And then
Okay.
you take that transcribed meeting minutes,
Mm-hmm.
copy and paste those into the notes.
Really?
Yep.
Okay.
I can show you
Okay.
how to do it.
Okay.
And that way you don't have to keep anything. In fact, last week I didn't have my computer to do it. I was using it for something else. So I just wrote out my minutes because I'm the secretary, wrote them out. I took a picture of them. I can attach the pictures
Mm-hmm.
to the
Mm-hmm.
event.
Okay. Yeah. In
And that
fact,
way you don't
Gerald.
have to maintain them.
Yeah. In fact, Gerald participated or helped to facilitate an eye screening yesterday with the
That should be
E-Lion. So.
recorded as an event.
Huh.
Yep.
Okay. Okay.
So
Thank you.
every secretary here, that's part of your job is to record those events that are happening, and those are meetings and those are other things. But this is not a secretary's training necessarily; it's a leadership training, right?
yeah.
Right. It is. It
and
is.
How do we?
Adam,
Yeah.
I just wanted to respond to the original question for Leonard. He wanted to know about recruitment, and there's some excellent things on the LCI website. In fact, there's one that's called 10 Ways to Recruit New Members. So be sure and check that out on the LCI website.
Yep.
On that note,
The rule of thumb
Thank you.
is
Thank you.
ask 10, get one.
So Leonard, what software is your club using to do the recording?
Hello.
Yes, Leonard.
Oh, can you hear me?
I can
Yeah.
hear you
Oh,
fine.
okay. It's the Microsoft gosh, I got it right on the tip of my tongue. I can't remember the name right off the top of my head, but it's a Microsoft product. It's kind of AI, but not quite. But I guess it is a little bit. But I'll get the name of it and I'll send it in an email.
Sounds good. Thank you.
I have a question for everybody. I I remember when I was working for the sheriff's office, and I would watch my leaders, and I would go, boy, that guy or that lady man, they are fantastic. I want to be like them. I want to do what they do. They're so effective. They make me feel so appreciated. I would do anything for that person. And then I would see the people that I would go, you know what? They're nice people, but I don't want to be like them. I don't like what they're doing here. And even those people had some good things, right? Can you tell us some of the good things that you've seen with people who are the leaders that you would like to emulate or have leading your club? What are some of the attributes?
Well, Adam, we've got one person that you mentioned earlier that I think a lot of people could take a lot from this guy, and during rough times, especially within their club, of not being afraid to take action and to ask for help if there's an area that they don't know, those are the kind of people that I frankly would follow and would emulate. And if I was a president, that's what I would want to do.
So, Jeremy, we have a past council chair here out of New Irving Confino. And Irving has been a Lion since 1917.
78.
Oh, that's
it
right.
It wasn't me this time.
That's 78.
Like that sometimes, so.
Yeah, it wasn't me this time. Yay, Irv.
I didn't mean. Have you seen? What about you? Have you seen leaders? How's leadership changed over the years? Maybe.
Well, I think a lion's been a lion for all these 48 years that I've been in it. And I don't think a lot of it has changed. It all boils down to the personality of the person. You know, you need people that take charge, but yet have the right personality, okay, not to offend anyone. I've seen leaders that are control freaks, which is very bad. And I've seen others that, always ask for help in doing a project. Personality has a lot to do with it. A thank you goes a long way in Lionism. There's a lot of good factors. You just have to be a good person. And you also have to know the people in your club, the Lions in your club. And you can't really treat everyone the same. That's the easy way out, because if you got 40 people in your club, then you've got 40 different personalities. And you've got to find the right tone to sort of appease everyone, remembering that you're not going to appease everyone.
Yeah.
But be in charge, and don't be a jerk about it.
Yeah. Can I tell a real quick story? And remember, when I was going to your clubs, I talked about, and when I do inductions, I talk about being inspirational, being an inspiration to others. And when you walk out that door, you don't know who's watching you, what they're watching you do, but rest assured, people are watching, and you are an inspiration in ways that you don't know. So let me tell this story. I was sitting in a lobby at the Q Center in Chicago during my DGE training, and it was time to go home. And so we were all kind of tired and just kind of hanging out. And one of the people sitting in the lobby with me, waiting for the bus, was Jeremy. And we were all just kind of minding our own business. And up walks this man. And he was confused, maybe not confused, but just he was lost about where he was supposed to be. And At least I think that's what he was saying, because he only spoke French. He was from France. And you could tell that he was struggling. And just so happens that Jeremy is a French teacher.
Oh.
And speaks fluent French. And so all that has went through my mind at that very moment, and all that has gone through my mind since, is where there's a need, there's a lion. And I watched Jeremy show a leadership quality that really kind of fueled me as I left there. I mean, I took a lot away from DGE school, but there are those lessons you don't plan on.
Mm-hmm.
And that was one of them. So I wanted to say thank you to Jeremy. I've mentioned it before, but no, it literally affected me.
I have a photo from that morning. I remember that. Yep. And I'm still Facebook friends with that guy.
You talked with him all the way to the airport.
It was. We didn't shut up the entire bus drive to the
Believe me, I know.
Once we figured it out. Yeah.
When I went to
it was blah 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 French. Blah 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 French.
When I went to Alley, we stopped at different places to pick up people, and there was a blind woman, and I was with Darlene, and Darlene and I both got off the bus to see if we could help her. And we asked her where she was going, and this was the bus, and she was a lion going to Alley.
Yeah.
And during Alley, she was next door to Darlene, and we had a fire drill. And I mean, and we're still friends with her. Yeah.
Well, the moral to my story is lead by example.
Yeah.
Leaders show the way. Just do what you know is right, and they will follow you. And you will be the example to the rest of the club, and you'll go, look, you'll be that leader that people go, that's the person I want to be like. That person did something that I could do.
Adam, I'd like to add something too. I think a leader also needs to be able to listen, and to be collegial, to make sure that the people that he or she is working with have a chance to communicate their ideas, and to try and incorporate those ideas if it's possible to the success of the organization. So listening for me is key.
I interviewed a lot of PDGs in my second vice district governor year, and I took notes on what they accomplished, what they wish they had done, and what were they wish they hadn't, and what advice would you give me? I have a whole book of it. It was very interesting.
That's good.
So Kevin Dredge is a new lion, and I'm hoping he's listening and realizing, again, because this isn't the first training he's been to, that there's a lot out there. There's a lot of resources and a lot of people to get help from. A lot of leaders that will step up with you, not for you, but with you. Anyone else? Jeremy, what else you got? Are we about done, or?
That sounds great either way. I appreciate the opportunity.
It doesn't matter to me.
With everybody, yeah.
Well, folks, if you have more to talk about, now's the time.
Well, I appreciate this training on this. This was good to listen to all the feedback everybody has. It's an eye opener. It's a good thing for sure.
Good, thank you. Kevin, did you have something to say?
Oh, just absolutely. Thank you so much, especially Jeremy. And I've been writing so many different great notes, and just excited and grateful to learn and contribute and to continue helping where needed. So I really appreciate being here, Adam. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And I wanted
Jeremy,
to say that Paul put in there, think about attending the USA Canada Forum. That is the best learning place to go about everything and anything. It is fantastic to go to the forum.
Yeah, it really is. Jeremy, one of the things that I took away from it was this video series that you did.
Yes.
This is interesting.
It gave some unique club level, what mattered to that individual club and that Lions strong point, and able to share their best practices across the district. It was good. So if you want to check those out, I think there's 4 or 5 ways to highlight all the good, 4 or 5 films on all the ways that the club levels highlighted their own ability to do that. I will also say at the USA Canada Forum, make sure you sit with strangers. I think one of the best ways you learn is to sit with somebody you don't know. All my local Lions are always upset that they don't see me for 2 days. But I see them at the state level all the time. I'm going to go out and learn something from somebody that's in a completely different state, a completely different country, a completely different way of thinking, of fundraising, that's not local to my district. So when you go out there to those opportunities, try to find somebody that's completely new to you each and every time you get the opportunity.
Well, you mentioned that you're still Facebook friends with that guy that we met there in Chicago. One of the things that we did, and this is something that you can have access to if you attend these events, is not exactly the same, but my group was able to share with another group from Italy. And so, probably 6 months ago now, 5 months ago, I got a phone call from a guy who was in that group from Italy. And he and his wife were here in Reno because their daughter goes to the University of Nevada, Reno. And she was graduating with her doctorate, and they wanted to get together for coffee. So we all, my wife and I, and these 2 people from Italy, met for coffee and had a great time. And they said, "You're coming to Italy, right? You'll have a place to stay." I mean, you just meet so many great people, and so that's true. Branch out, just have some fun with people. For the most part, people are fun, not all of them, but most of them.
For the most part.
Yeah, Kathleen, you're laughing like you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Absolutely.
You don't have to kill everybody. Leave a few of them alive and just, have fun with the rest.
That's right.
So anyway, folks, do you have anything else that you'd like to talk about? Okay. Well,
thank you.
Jeremy, I just want to say thank you for taking the time out of your day.
Thank you again.
I feel like maybe we branched off a little bit from your topic, but you know what? Leadership is reading the room.
That's right.
And these things needed to be talked about, apparently. So, but you did give some great insight, and we really appreciate it. Everybody sitting here appreciates the time you took and your insight and your expertise. And thank you so much for organizing, being part of the organizational team for the International Convention in Washington, D.C. If you guys can go, it is well worth it. Let me tell you, if you haven't been in the Parade of Nations and see, 80 people from Nigeria or, 30 people from name your country, it is just amazing. And I think in Orlando, we sang the Nevada song, right? The Home Means Nevada, and just had a great time. So anyway, if you get a chance to go, Jeremy is part of the organizational team.
That's right. I'll see every single one of you in Washington, D.C.
That's right.
Everyone.
You make it compelling.
We appreciate your time, Jeremy. Thank you so much. Folks, I'm going to end this recording now, but please pass this on to your fellow members in Lions at your clubs and have them look at all of the classes that we've had this year. Now, next month, next month, our instructor is Babs. And she's going to be doing, what are you doing?
I give up.
Tail twisting.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, there's
tail twisting. She's going to twist some tails. So get your folks out there. It's supposed to make it fun and help them forget about the stresses of the day and just have some fun in Lions, because that's, if you're, what do they say? What does Barry Temple and others say? If you ain't having fun, you ain't doing it right.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
Thanks, Adam. Thanks, Jeremy.
Okay.
And in June, our class is mentorship. So, folks, take care.
Okay.
Have a great day. Bye.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye, everybody.
See
All
ya.
right. Bye-bye. Thanks, all.
Thanks, Jeremy.
Hey, Adam.
Yes.